I sighed and stared at my phone, reading the message from my mother for the 5th time. Sophie, we need $2,000, 0 cents for Thanksgiving. Guests are coming. We need decorations, catering, and something new for Lily to wear. No, please, nor how are you? Just another demand like always. They treat me like an ATM, I muttered, my heart sinking with resentment. I'm Sophie, by the way, 35 years old, living in Seattle and apparently my family's personal bank. I typed, I'll send the money today, then paused before adding a second message. Am I invited to this Thanksgiving party too? You're not welcome, I whispered to myself, dreading her reply. The reply came instantly. A single smiley face emoji. No words, no confirmation, just that stupid yellow grin. They're mocking me, I thought, my anger flaring at the dismissal. I shouldn't have been surprised. It's been like this for years, but it wasn't always. When I was little, before age 10, things felt different. My parents, Mark and Ellen, were only 21 when I was born. Back then, life was simple. Weekend picnics, story time, warm pancakes on Sundays. Then came Lily, the planned child, the golden one. From the moment she arrived, everything revolved around her. Piano lessons in the nursery, art classes, parenting by the book. I found our photo albums last year. For every photo of me, there were 10 of Lily. In the rare family photos, I'm off to the side, cut off or blurry, while Lily beams center stage. I was never enough, I murmured, the old wound reopening. Just send the money and move on, I muttered, opening my banking app. My down payment fund for a house in Ballard shrank by 2,000 seconds in seconds. They're bleeding me dry, I thought, my fingers trembling with frustration. When I graduated college with honors, I called home, hoping for acknowledgement. I can't make it. Lily has a recital. You're nothing compared to her, Mom's words echoed, crushing my pride. As if that explained everything. They never visited, never checked in. And yet every November they still remembered to ask for money. I learned to survive on my own, graduated with honors, landed a job as a project manager at a respected firm in downtown Seattle, just blocks from the university where I earned my degree. I carved out a life that didn't orbit around anyone else's needs, and yet, as soon as my income became steady, so did their attention. Sophie, Lily needs new shoes for fall. Can you send $300, 0 cents? Sophie, we're enrolling her in dance lessons. Only $5,000, 0 cents for the quarter. You owe us. Dad's voice rang in my memory, guilt tripping me every time. I always sent the money. It barely dented my paycheck, and some small, stubborn piece of me still wanted their approval. Then, 3 years ago, came the real ask. Lily got into Whitman College, my dad said over the phone, his voice oddly formal. We need help with tuition. I asked if she'd gotten any scholarships after all the enrichment programs and private tutoring. A long silence. Then my mother said sharply, That's not the point. You need to support your sister. Her future is more important than your pride. You're selfish if you don't, she snapped, her words like a slap. So I agreed. $1,500, 0 cents a month every month. I told myself it was temporary, but months later another call came. We bought a new pickup truck, gave the SUV to Lily. You'll cover the loan, right? When I protested, my mom stopped. Stop being selfish, Sophie. You're the oldest, you owe it to this family. You're just a resource, I realized, my heart hardening. And somehow I was sending $2,500 cents for the car, for their comfort. As November rolled in, I spent another $1,200 cents on gifts, a designer jacket for Lily, a new smartwatch for Dad, and a luxury spa voucher for Mom. Then I loaded up my car and made the 5-hour drive to Tacoma. I hadn't been home in nearly a year, but this was Thanksgiving. Maybe this time would be different. They'll see me this time, I hoped, clinging to a fading dream. Music and laughter spilled through the frosted windows as I stepped out of my car, arms full, overnight bag in one hand, carefully wrapped gifts in the other. I took a deep breath, steadied myself, and knocked on the front door. A moment later, my mother opened it. Her smile faded the instant she saw me. Sophie, what are you doing here? She asked, not budging from the doorway. You're not wanted, her cold tone screamed. I blinked. I don't understand, I sent the money. I texted you I was coming. She frowned. You did, but I didn't think you'd actually show. You usually skip these noisy get-togethers. It's Thanksgiving, I said quietly. Well, you're here. Come in. Everyone's already eating. Warmth and cinnamon filled the air as I stepped inside. Laughter bubbled from the dining room. I recognized the voices. Uncles, aunts, cousins. And right at the center, glowing like a Thanksgiving movie still, was Lily in a shimmering gold dress. Look who showed up, my mother announced flatly. She's a burden, her voice seemed to imply, stinging my pride. My father glanced up. Sophie, didn't know you were coming. You're an afterthought, his distracted tone confirmed. He gave me a distracted one-armed hug and went back to chatting with Uncle Tom. I stood there awkward, holding my bags. Lily didn't even get up. Hey, she muttered, barely glancing at me before turning back to gossip with Cousin Natalie. You're invisible, her indifference taunted. I slipped my gifts under the tree, already bursting with presents, and wedged into a seat next to Aunt Clara, the only one who ever asked how I was doing. Sophie, what a lovely surprise, she said warmly, giving my hand a squeeze. How's work? Good, I just got promoted to senior project manager. That's amazing. You always were the smart one, she said loud enough for the table to hear. I caught the flicker of irritation on my mother's face as she spooned mashed potatoes onto Lily's plate. You're stealing her spotlight, Mom's glare accused. Dinner passed in a blur. No one mentioned who paid for Lily's college or their new pickup truck, and when the gifts were opened, Lily held up the designer jacket I'd bought her, muttered cool thanks, and moved on. You're nothing to me, her casual dismissal screamed. If you've ever given everything and still felt invisible, hit subscribe because what happens next will change everything. My parents gave a lukewarm thank you for their gifts, but the words felt rehearsed, empty. Then my mother handed me a hastily wrapped package. This is for you, Sophie. I peeled back the wrinkled paper to find a plain brown scarf, thick, itchy wool, clearly sized for a man. I knew it immediately, the same brand Uncle Paul wore. He hadn't shown up this year. Thanks, I said, forcing a smile. You don't deserve better, the scarf seemed to say. But inside, I felt hollow. They hadn't even bothered to get me something of my own. By 10, the noise died down. Most of the extended family had left. I stood, rubbing my eyes. I think I'll head to bed, I said, already reaching for my overnight bag. My mother glanced taken from Olympia or using it. Okay, I can sleep on the living room couch, I offered. She shook her head. That's where Uncle Steve's sleeping. Oh, where am I supposed to sleep? She gave a shrug. We didn't expect you, Sophie. Maybe try a hotel. It's Thanksgiving Eve. Everything's booked. You know that. I never had family, her words implied, cutting deep. From the kitchen, Lily snorted. Yes, there's no room at the inn or a shelter. Get out, her cruel jab echoed, shattering my hope. The words stung. I looked to my father. He met my gaze, then quietly turned away to gather empty glasses. You're on your own, his silence confirmed. Something cracked in me. A quiet final break. I set the scarf on the coffee table, grabbed my things, and walked out into the freezing Washington night. The only hotel was full. Calls to old friends went unanswered or apologetic. So, I drove 5 hours back toward Seattle, stopping only for coffee and gas. Around 2 o'clock IOIM, I pulled into a tiny roadside motel. Happy Thanksgiving, the elderly man at the desk said. Traveling tonight? Family emergency, I murmured. You're better off alone, his kind eyes seemed to say. He nodded, then handed me a small box. Have some Thanksgiving pie on the house. No one should be alone today. And in that quiet act of kindness, I felt more seen than I had in years. The motel owner and I chatted briefly. He told me about his grandchildren, his favorite pie recipes, before handing me the room key. I went upstairs, ate the pie, and collapsed into bed. Exhaustion washed over me like a wave. I woke late the next day, sunlight slanting through the blinds, Thanksgiving Day. By evening, I'd finished the long drive back to Seattle. My apartment was cold, dark, and empty. I checked my phone. No messages, no missed calls. No one had asked if I'd made it home safely. They don't care, I whispered, tears welling up. Why would they? I wasn't family. I was a transaction. An ATM with a heartbeat. The day after Thanksgiving, I drifted through the hours in a daze. By nightfall, I curled up on the couch and scrolled through social media, desperate for distraction. Then I saw it. Lily's latest Instagram post, a carousel of perfectly filtered party photos, smiling faces, glittering lights, spent Thanksgiving with the people who matter most. I wasn't in a single photo. I'm nothing to them, I sobbed, my heart breaking. Something broke. I opened my banking app and stared at the scheduled payments. $1,500, 0 cents for Lily's tuition on the 1st. $1,000, 0 cents for the pickup truck loan on the 5th. My fingers hovered. Then one by one, I canceled both. No more, I whispered into the quiet. Vows vownal. No texts. I dove into work, booked an appointment with a realtor, said yes to that drink with James from marketing. Then, early December, my phone rang. Mom, Sophie, she barked. Why was Lily called to the financial office today? Her tuition's late. Fix it. You're ungrateful, she snapped, her voice dripping with venom. No greeting, just demands. It's not a mistake, I said, calm. I canceled it. How could you be so selfish? Family helps family. You've betrayed us, she screamed, her words like daggers. You threw me out on Thanksgiving Eve after I funded the party, after I drove 5 hours to be there. You treated me like I didn't exist. You're being dramatic. No, I'm done. Also, I canceled the car payments. A crash. My dad's voice in the background. How did you cancel? You'll pay for this, he shouted, his anger palpable. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up. My phone lit up again, call after call, then the texts from Lily. You petty, jealous freak. I always knew you hated me. You're a monster, she texted, her hatred clear. From Dad. After all we did for you, this is how you repay us? Ungrateful? You're no daughter of mine, he added, his words searing. From Mom? You'll regret this, Sophie. Just wait. Family is forever and you're burning bridges you can't rebuild. That was the last message I saw before turning off my phone for the day. When I turned it back on the next morning, the notifications poured in. This time, it wasn't just my parents or Lily. It was cousins I barely remembered. An uncle from Spokane who I saw once a year, all of them echoing the same script. You owe your parents. Family means sacrifice. You're tearing us apart, a cousin texted, echoing their lies. I was seconds from muting everyone when a new message popped up from Aunt Clara. Sophie? Sweetheart, can we talk? I'd really like to hear your side. I called her immediately. She answered on the first ring. Your mother's been telling everyone that you've cut the family off, she said gently, that they paid your college, helped with your car, and now you're refusing to help Lily in their time of need? They're lying, I exclaimed, my voice shaking with fury. I let out a dry laugh. None of that is true. I told her about the full scholarship, the part-time jobs, the rent I paid by working 30 hours a week. I told her about the $1,500 0 cents monthly tuition support and the $1,000 0 cents car payments. There was a long pause. They can't be, she whispered. Your mom told everyone at dinner last month that they're still paying off your student loans and Lily's tuition. I've never had student loans, I said. And I can prove everything. I spent the next hour pulling together my bank statements, highlighting every recurring transfer. I added a timeline of how I paid my own way, how I'd sent money home quietly for years. Then I emailed it all to Aunt Clara. They'll see the truth now, I said, my voice firm with conviction. An hour later, she called back. Sophie, I'm so sorry your mother lied. Your father backed her up. I nodded. They wanted the credit without the cost. With your permission, she said firmly. I'd like to share this with the family. They deserve to know the truth. Please do, I said. For the first time in years, I felt the weight start to lift. I'm proud of you, she added quietly. And I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. I saw how they treated you. I always did. You've given me strength, I told her, tears of gratitude in my eyes. After that call with Aunt Clara, I felt lighter than I had in years. 3 days later, my phone started buzzing again, but this time the messages were different. Sophie, I'm so sorry for what I said. I had no idea how much you've been doing for your sister and parents. Your aunt showed us the proof. We all owe you an apology. You're finally seen, I thought, a wave of relief washing over me. Apparently, Aunt Clara had created a separate family group chat, one without my parents, Lily, and had quietly shared the bank statements and my written timeline. The truth had finally come out. My cousin Olivia even called me. Your parents are furious with Aunt Clara. They're saying she's turning everyone against them. They're losing control, I said, a faint smile on my lips. All she did was tell the truth. I said, I know. And just so you know, we're on your side now. Didn't know if I wanted sides, but I had to admit, it felt good to finally be seen. Over the next weeks, my parents kept calling. I ignored them, but I read their texts. Lily only has 2 years left in school, my mother wrote. You can't just abandon her like this. You're heartless, she accused, her words hollow. We made mistakes, my dad messaged. For punishing your sister isn't right. You're the villain, he implied, twisting the narrative. Even their apologies made me the villain. Aunt Clara kept me updated. She said my parents were frantically spinning the story again, telling relatives I twisted the facts that they had supported me in college. But fewer people believed them now. The statements didn't lie. How's Lily doing? I asked Aunt Clara during one of our weekly calls. She's had to adjust, she said. They sold the new pickup truck and gave her back the old car, but even that didn't last. She's taking the bus now. She's learning my reality, I thought, a mix of pity and vindication. I felt a flicker of guilt, but I let it pass. She's still in school, yes, your parents made a big deal about having to sacrifice to keep her there. No more designer clothes or steakhouse dinners. Has Lily had to get a job? Part-time at the campus bookstore? Your mom complains that she barely has time for social life now. I smiled. Sounds a lot like my college experience. I know. Aunt Clara sighed. I should have spoken up sooner. They always treated you and Lily so differently. You're my family now, I told her, my voice warm with gratitude. Water under the bridge, I replied. Though we both knew it wasn't entirely true. Some wounds take a long time to close. Spring faded into summer. I stayed focused, working, saving, building the life I'd always dreamed of. I'd started dating someone new. Daniel, steady, kind, grounded. He valued effort, respected boundaries, and never made me feel small. I told him about my family early on. He didn't flinch, just listened. You're stronger than they know, he said, his words a quiet affirmation. One evening in July, curiosity tugged at me. I checked Lily's Instagram for the first time in months. Gone were the glamorous parties, the designer dresses, the flashy captions. Her latest posts were more subdued. Textbooks, latte art from the bookstore, quotes about resilience. Life is harder than I thought. Nothing worth having comes for free. I stared at the screen, emotions tangled. A part of me felt vindicated. She was finally tasting the reality I'd lived since I was 18. But another part just felt sad. We'd been set up from the beginning, shaped by expectations neither of us asked for. She's growing, I thought, a flicker of hope stirring. I didn't reach out. Not yet. The wounds still pulsed beneath the surface. By fall, I'd saved enough for a down payment on a sleek little condo near my office. Signing those mortgage papers felt like a silent, personal triumph. Congratulations, homeowner Samuel said, grinning as he handed me the keys. You've built this yourself, he added, his pride warming my heart. He painted walls, built bookshelves, and made it feel like home. For once, I wasn't alone. A year after that Thanksgiving, I still hadn't spoken to my parents or Lily. My dad's last message came in November. We miss you, Sophie. When you're ready, we're here. You're too late, I thought, my resolve unshaken. I didn't reply. I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure I ever would be. Aunt Clara stayed my only link to the family. That December we met for coffee. Lily's different now, she told me. Still working, still studying. Your parents could help, but she insists. Good for her, I said. And for once, I meant it. She's finding her way, I acknowledged, my voice softer. Do you ever think about reconnecting with them? Aunt Clara asked gently. I took a slow sip of coffee. Sometimes, I admitted. But then I remember Thanksgiving, the lies, being kicked out after funding their celebration. They broke me, I confessed, my voice steady but raw. She squeezed my hand. You don't owe them anything, Sophie. I just want you to be happy. I am, I said, and realized I meant it. I found my peace, I told her, a smile breaking through. That night, cooking with Daniel in our little kitchen, my phone buzzed. A post from Lily. Life is hard, and it's supposed to be. That's how we grow. They smiled. Maybe there was hope for her, Payu. I had finally come home to myself. I'm enough, I whispered, my heart full at last. If my story resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you would have done or share your own story. Your support reminds me that walking away from toxic family isn't weakness, it's strength. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. This journey isn't over.